This is E. Obviously, a little editing needs to be done, but this is the motherfucking Blood Doctor Show on a Wednesday, as it always should be, creating new intros all the time until I find the right one, the perfect one to encapsulate just what the fuck it is we do here. That one, though, classic with the old school Blood Doctor logo, which, you know, I still love, courtesy of Mrs. Blood Doctor. She got that one done for us. And of course, the intro music, which I stole from Sun Dude on YouTube years ago, but of course he knows about it and is fine with it. So in the end, who cares? And of course, we won't even say where the video comes from because we know, and it's shameful, but it's a Wednesday. And unfortunately, our man Brandy could not join us. So we will have to do a Blunt Doctor show minus B, which is always a worse Blunt Doctor show. Of course, B is the man, and he certainly enlightens things around here. But we'll just have to go with one solid hour of me talking about what's up with this world instead. And we're going to try some new things today. We're going to break out a couple of little ideas within ideas using this software that we have to run the show. So let's see what happens. Let's see how it goes. But let's just start up top with our usual thing. And I have noticed a trend in conservative media lately. Okay. And like, here's the thing. None of us want to fucking watch conservative media, right? I don't want to listen to these guys talk. I don't want to hear anything that they have to say. But when you're on social media, of course, you know, scrolling throughout the day, doom scrolling as the case may be, you're going to come across clips, you know, people say things. It's how it goes, right? And I have noticed something in my recent doom scrolling. And that is that conservative media seem to have realized that if they continue to lie to our fucking faces, it's going to go really bad for them. Really badly for them. If you watch any of Tucker Carlson lately, you won't even know what you're watching. You will be confounded because he's literally taking Republicans to task and asking them how they could be going to war in Iran when, you know, Trump campaigned saying if you elect Kamala, she's going to go to war. She's going to send your children to war. Now he's doing exactly that. So Republicans seem to be picking up on hypocrisy. It only took them like, you know, I don't know, 100 fucking years. Congratulations. Welcome to the party. You're very, very late. We have no more appetizers for you. You can drink warm milk. That's what's left. That's what's left at this party because everyone fucking knows that every Republican in the world is a hypocrite. That's like the most important thing about being a Republican is that you are comfortable with constant hypocrisy. You have to 100% be willing at all the time to, you know, tell everyone that you know that what is true is what you believe, even if it is exactly the opposite of what you fucking said last week. That is literally like one of the most tried and true things about being a Republican at this point. It's throughout the entire party. And yet somehow some of those who have been grifting off these morons are starting to wake up. Another one today, I saw Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh is like, he's like from the Daily Wire. He's one of the most dangerous people in this country. He's the moron who made that Am I Racist movie. He's the one trying to start an anti-woke Hollywood that just signed Jonathan Majors and Zachary Levi to do an anti-woke Sinners where they're playing twins, which is going to be the worst movie ever. And I will not waste my time on it. I'll fucking watch Mando's Hands of Fate and Suicide Squad again before I ever watch anything from the Daily Wire. And if you know me saying I would watch Suicide Squad again lets you know how fucking little I want to hear anything from the Daily Wire. And yet even Matt Walsh has come out and said, how can we fucking look ourselves in the eye and say that we're happy about war with Iran. We literally spent the entire time saying for years that it was evil to bomb these countries, that Democrats are the real war hawks, that we're isolationists, like we have some sort of pre-World War I policy or some shit. And of course, the minute that Trump sees the ability to get oil, he, bombs boats in Venezuela and then invades and takes their leader. The minute that he sees, the opportunity to do the same thing in the Middle East, he bombs Iran under, again, they have a nuclear weapons program. And, whether or not that is true, we yet again are back to playing the role of world police, which apparently is just, the most important thing that any of us can do, because it just continues. Like, I'd love to point out that as much as I would love for, Kamala to have won, like, it's not as if Joe Biden and Barack Obama were these wonderful people who didn't bomb the world. Like, we have a significant problem in this country with just believing that it's our job to handle everything else. And I'm not saying that there are not people who are at times grateful for what we do, but we certainly never handle it the way it should be handled. When you're launching fucking Nintendo pilots to shoot bombs from thousands of miles away and they blow up girls' schools, I don't think you're accomplishing the mission. When you're blowing up elementary schools, I don't think you're accomplishing the mission. And I don't give a shit what you think your politics are. I don't give a shit what you think about religion, the world, whatever. When you're killing children, that's not the mission. Ever. Ever. And we're at the point where when I see the United States flag, it's almost a symbol of violence. It showed up in the intro of this that I made. And I wondered, should I even have it? And ultimately I kept it because I don't want the United States to only exist as a memory of hateful. It is shameful. Shout out, Keith. You're very right. It is shameful. I don't want the United States to exist only as a memory of hatred. I don't want the American flag to become what the Nazi flag became. So I don't want to run from the United States. I want to fix the United States. I want to speak out and say, let's save the United States. There has to be something that we can do to prevent these things from becoming the norm. There must be something. And maybe I'm stupid and maybe I'm too optimistic, and those are ultimately the same thing. But, this just can't be what it is. You know me, I'm not ever speechless. When am I ever incapable of talking? And so I literally struggle to come up with what to say about this because it's so unbelievably egregious, so unbelievably heinous. It crosses so many lines that it doesn't even feel real. It's like what Conan O'Brien said about Trump at this point, that it's almost not even worth it to make fun of him because every single thing that he does is more egregious than the joke. He's so insane that every single thing that he says is actually worse than any sort of jokes that you could make about him in the first place. And it's just like, don't even talk about him. Don't give him airtime. Don't give him oxygen. Don't acknowledge his existence, because that's all he's ever wanted. And now, as his brain erodes and he is less and less in charge, and he is given, over all of these tasks to the most monstrous of people, things continue to get worse. They come to him and go, hey, we're going to bomb Iran because we want to, because they're trying to kill Americans. And he goes, great, do it. It's not like he's listening to intelligence briefings. He said in 2016 that he didn't listen to intelligence briefings and that he wasn't going to. He said it in 2018. Again, I've never listened to an intelligence briefing. So he's not doing it now as he's sundowning on national television and barely has a clue where he is or what's going on. That's our president, baby. United fucking States. At least when Reagan had dementia in his later years, we had the good decency to hide him from the public instead of letting him go on boats and give speeches or, give speeches about unity and then sink independent boats that aren't even warships and just have sailors trying to go home. That's the United fucking States. And it's not the United States that I was told about or that I grew up believing existed. Like, I legitimately, truly believed that this place actually stood for something when I was, a kid, when I was a teenager, even. It took me into my 20s to truly understand what America was. And I don't know if I was late or early because, you see a lot of Gen Z on both sides of the fence. Gen Z is as fascist as they are progressive. And, Gen Alpha, who the fuck knows? Probably more of the same. And, Charlie Kirk did a goddamn number on this world. His little Turning Point USA thing, and I'm ashamed that it was started here in Arizona. That guy got a lot of people to be really fucking hateful. And so I guess I can understand why then Erica Kirk was appointed to the Air Force Council on helping recruit Air Force recruits. So, like, literally what has happened here is that they quite literally said, hey, we need a podcaster's wife on this, military board. And I understand doing everything you can to placate the wife of a monster who did every single thing that, he could to destroy the world, of course. This is a really good point. Keith chimes in. Even Charlie would never have been appointed to this role. They never would have given Charlie. They never would have given Charlie anything like this, ever. And they gave it to his wife. And this is not to say that a wife is somehow less capable of doing something, but it's not even the person who was doing what they wanted. It's their spouse. So let's just refer to it as the spouse of a podcaster. Now, again, this is supposedly about, we're going to have her help us recruit people at the Air Force Academy. And if I didn't think it might get me have this episode banned on YouTube, I would post a picture of Erica Kirk in a thong that she used to post of herself in various Trump beauty competitions, which were really just things where she would bang Trump to get money and attention. And then, by the way, go look up Erica Kirk, what she did in Europe, because she recruited girls as models and then sex trafficked them to Epstein's Island. I'm not making that up. And I'm so comfortable saying it on this video that I know that no one would ever see me, but I'm so comfortable that if I was sued, I can factually fucking back that up. That's how comfortable I am saying that I know that Erica Kirk sexually trafficked girls from Europe. Because I have seen so much fucking evidence of it that I will say it here in a recorded place that she will never see because I'm nobody. But hey, they dig up random people and sue the shit out of them all the time. And I will say it right here because I know it's true. This woman used to bang Donald Trump until she got too old and Donald got tired of her. And then he told her to marry Charlie Kirk. You can go look up the stories of how Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk met. Erica, whatever the fuck her name was. And Charlie believed it was a job interview. And he's like, I'm not going to hire you, but I am going to date you, thinking that he was proving what a man he was. And Erica was told to go marry him. And now she has a role advising the Air Force, which again, I am assuming is about shaking her ass at Air Force recruits because I have that little respect for her and I don't know what else she can do. But hey, apparently it could also be about sex trafficking young women for the military. Who the hell knows what we want to do in this world? Don't forget that in the new versions of the Epstein files, they talked about eating their victims. And that Donald Trump said to one of his victims, quote, I'll fucking make you disappear like the last one. And he was talking to a 10-year-old girl. That's what's going on in our White House. And this woman fucked the guy who did all that and then profited off of her husband's murder and stood around and did WWE style chants. And now she's taking all sorts of jobs. Nothing I have said is an accusation or false. I suppose the sex trafficking young girls thing could be considered an accusation, but I mean, I don't know. You tell me, when a bunch of girls are hired as models and every single one of them disappears and every single one of them had an interview with Erica Kirk and many of them ended up on Epstein's Island. Yeah, I wonder what that could mean. Why are we discovering new fucking things every single day that get worse than the previous day? And you still hear things like this and people go, oh, it can't be true. I got to acknowledge, I am the one who said, I said on whatever show, exactly, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a fucking pedophile, okay? Factual. I am the one who said I didn't think there was like some smoking gun, right? Before the Epstein files were released. I said there's no way that like it's this, there's some like obvious, because, even drug dealers do. Oh, then it turns out, no, it's like so much more obvious than you ever could have imagined. It's so much more. They're literally like just discussing things in the open from Gmail accounts. And government officials have had some of this shit for a couple of years now. And like, listen, if you had access to this and you weren't like leaking it, what the fuck is wrong with you? If your answer is, well, federal law prohibited me, fuck you. This is something worth going to jail for. And by the way, if you don't think the entire world would come to your support, like, what are you thinking? And that doesn't even account for the children who built the iPads. Don't forget that Apple uses child labor. People are like, why do you use Samsung? Because your iPhone was built by fucking children. That's why. Oh, man. Well, folks, we've had a hotter socialism start on this show because when you have no guest, you go harder. And that's just the way that we do things here at the Blood Doctor Show, is that we go from the extreme to the more extreme. That's where we deal here. Okay, we don't deal with fun. It's always war on the people we hate. And don't worry, you know who's coming up later. But let's talk about something good. Let's talk about something tremendous. Let's talk about something better. ASU has fired their head men's basketball coach. And it's extremely fucking funny. Why is it extremely fucking funny? Because it's off like the worst loss of all goddamn time. Now, I am a University of Arizona guy. And when I see ASU lose by 50 fucking points, it warms my goddamn heart. Because when Bobby Hurley was hired here, it was preached about how he was going to be the great savior of ASU basketball, and he was going to take everything to the next level. He was going to turn it all around. Bobby Hurley, not that he had ties to Phoenix, not that he mattered here in any sort of way, but hey, he was a famous name in Duke basketball in the 1990s. He didn't do anything in the NBA. Surely he will be a star. You know what's really funny? His brothers won multiple titles at UConn, but hey, ASU hired the right guy. Now that they've lost by 50, now that they let him basically coach out his contract, and they're like, oh, we lost by 50. We're not extending you. Smart. But it also shows how cheap ASU is. He's been bad. They let him continue coaching all the way through the end of his contract instead of firing him and bringing in someone who actually knows what they're doing. So now I'm going to go get to watch them go through, the dregs of lower conferences, looking for some dude to, pull out of nowhere that they're going to convince me is, the next Lute Olson, which he'll never be, because no one at ASU will ever fucking be anything compared to Lute Olson. And it's going to be really fun watching that person leave the contract negotiations because ASU won't pay enough money because they spent all of their money on their very overrated head football coach who just ran off their quarterback. Listen, U of A is a poorly run school that's in a financial crunch that may never be resolved. And they are, I mean, listen, if you go look at the financial deficits for the University of Arizona, you might wonder how that school is still functioning. And you'd be right to wonder that. So they're never going to be good at anything in sports because they can barely afford to keep the goddamn lights on. And so when your rivals who exist in a very large city, there's a lot of money here in Phoenix. There are famous people all over this city with money that you could walk to and ask for a check for athletics in this NIL era. And the fact that they can't fucking do it warms my goddamn heart. It warms my goddamn heart. What can I say? I love seeing ASU fail. And a 50-point failure. I mean, a 50-point failure would have me standing here like this too. Like, just fuck, man. Ugh, just fuck. Like, you lost by 50. It's truly tremendous. It's like a Phoenix Suns Earl Watson game. And only one person will get that joke, and that's fine. But nonetheless, that's what it is. And it's incredible to, see it happening to the other guys. Again, in this scenario, Tempe is a lot closer to a lot of money than Tucson is. There's a lot of goddamn money for ASU to reach out to actually make this school not suck. And they still can't do it. All you've got to do, listen, half the girls who go to ASU are OnlyFans girls, okay? So all you got to do is send some of those girls to the billionaires in Scottsdale and ask them to write a check for NIL. And then you don't ask what happened after that. You just send them to, ask the question, and then you let the OnlyFans girls do what they do. That's just a thing that you should be doing. And yet they still can't do it because nothing that this school does is correct. And again, it just, it makes me feel good to watch ASU completely fucking crumble. It was, for a while, a school with this sort of incredible reputation for a theater program and this great auditorium and all of these things. And ASU was sort of rising in the ranks. And then the UC system in California got overflowed and OnlyFans started. And now we have an endless supply of 19-year-old nursing students, and the school can't even find a way to get billionaires to write checks from that. I'm embarrassed for you. I'm embarrassed for you. You can't get the job done. That's terrible. But I mean, listen, nobody accused anyone of going to this school of being smart, So, hey, listen, that's and again, all these jokes are inside baseball, and I don't even care. But I just wanted to point out one statistic from this game. They lost by 50. ASU shot 5% from three. 5%. Oh my God. 5% from the European/women's 3-point line. All right. Woo, boy. That's a pretty terrible performance. And speaking of terrible performances, this guy, he is the manager of the U.S. men's baseball team for the World Baseball Classic, which is a worldwide international baseball competition, not unlike, the Olympics or whatever sports, but it's not really tied to any of those things. It's just its own tournament. It's like a World Cup, basically, for baseball, and started in 2006 and honestly has become quite a big deal. I really didn't realize what a big deal it was in the ratings until I'd seen some of the stories this week and realized how much this thing actually matters. And so, of course, when something matters, you want to put your smartest people on top of it who know what they're doing. And that's where we come to manager Mark DeRosa, who did not know that the United States did not qualify after going 3-0, and that if they lost to Italy, they might not make it to the next round. We're so fucking dumb. Like as a country, we're so fucking dumb. Imagine not knowing the rules for the sport that you're managing that is the most important international competition for this sport. You are managing superstars. You are managing the best of American baseball players, and you do not know the fucking rules. And there's only one country where you would believe that leadership was so stupid that they didn't know the rules. I mean, what country? USA. It's right there in the middle of the graphic. And we had to be bailed out by Italy, beating the shit out of Mexico after they beat us to go to the next round. So ultimately, it makes no difference. It's a footnote in history. But what really matters is this. He literally went on a broadcast and said, well, we're going to rest our guys for this game because we've already made it through. And then when it was found out that, they didn't make it through and that he was wrong, MLB went out of their way to erase these videos and take them down, basically to erase them from existence and show that that never occurred because they didn't want to show him looking stupid. He happens to be a guy who has a show on MLB Network. So we're so fundamentally fucking stupid that, number one, we don't know the rules to the competition. Number two, we will out loud say that we don't know the rules to the competition. We'll just admit it. We'll say, oh my God, he admitted. A little, I think you should leave reference there. So we'll not know the rules. We'll say that we don't know them out loud. Number three, when it's found out that we don't know them, and not only that we don't know them, but we said them, we will erase the video of it, forgetting that the internet is forever and that there's no erasing anything. Thus proving that we knew we were stupid and that we were trying to hide it. Then, number four, they uploaded the video again and edited it to remove him saying that. Thus again proving that you knew it was stupid. And then they sent him out in public and had him say, I misspoke. If we were a dog, Kristi Noem would shoot us. We're so stupid. We're the morons of the world. I don't know what to say. Like someone, and I apologize, I'm not trying to steal a joke. Credit to whoever said this. It was on Instagram. Someone said, everyone in America in a leadership position is a moron. And it just really, honest to God, seems like that. Like every single day, I turn on the news and I either see a white guy saying something really stupid and racist, homophobic, transphobic that makes all white guys look terrible, or number two, an American saying something really dumb, racist, homophobic, transphobic that makes us all look really stupid. And I just like, what do you do with this? What do you do with people who don't know the rules to their own sports? Like how do you handle that? If you're the World Baseball Classic and you're trying to like get this thing to be something that, becomes like the Super Bowl in terms of when the final airs, you want, the whole world to watch it. That becomes like the World Cup finale where the whole world watches it. And again, it's much bigger than I thought, but they're still trying to take it to new levels, to new stratospheres, right? And one of the managers is such a fucking moron that he's out here like just saying the dumbest shit. Like obviously they knew that there was an issue with it because they literally tried to cover it up. Like MLB and the WBC are closely interlinked. So the MLB taking an action on their website is at the behest of the World Baseball Classic. So they were very clearly embarrassed by Mark DeRosa being a moron, not realizing that the United States is advanced, saying this, and they wanted him to remove the shit. And ultimately, again, it doesn't matter because Italy came out there and beat the shit out of Mexico. Like I watched the game. It was a beatdown. I mean, Mexico, like, man, they didn't even show up. Italy's crushing home runs right now. They may win the whole goddamn thing. And that may end up being the story is, these Italian dudes who all showed up in like the most fine ass Italian suits you're ever going to see. Like they like did a whole feature on the way these dudes dressed up for the game. And I was like, yeah, that's how you fucking show up to the World Baseball Classic. So, respect to Italy, because I mean they kicked our ass, but then they got us through by beating Mexico as well, because the way pool play works. So, but again, like, how many more times? Like, okay, we go out and win the World Cup, right? Or we win the Olympics, and the women go party with Flavor Flav, and the men party with Kash Patel. How many times are we going to continue to embarrass ourselves on the world stage? Like how many times are we going to do this? Like, I'm sick of America being a joke, and I'm sick of every cool American moment being ruined by something related to Trump. The U.S. men's hockey team winning was a big goddamn deal. And for them to then like party with Kash Patel, like Kash Patel win in the locker room. I don't know that they could have stopped that. But they like did champagne with them and then took pictures and posted on Instagram. That's like, fuck that shit. You could have just turned around and not talked to that dude and been like, look, I can't do anything about this guy being here, but I'm going to ignore him. But they didn't. And it's embarrassing. And I'm just reaching a point where how many embarrassing things do we have to deal with? Like, how many things do we have to sit here and fucking every single day be like, I'm sorry, the rest of us are not this stupid. It's just the people in charge. And I swear we didn't actually vote for the people in charge. It's just that in our country, we have a very rigged system that allows a small group of people to have a lot more power than they should. It's like, you reach a certain point of it's exhausting. It's exhausting being an American. And this is what I was saying, is that like, you don't want being an American to become a symbol of hatred and a symbol of violence. You also don't want it to become a symbol of stupidity. And I fear that like red, white, and blue is like becoming like dumb, evil, and I don't know what, fat, basically. And I'm sorry on this one. I'm one of those three. But I do. It's like red, white, blue, dumb, evil, and fat. That's America, baby. That's like what we are. That's how the world views us, by the way. Like, the world views us as violent, psychotic, fat people who live at McDonald's. And they're like 60% right. That's the problem. Like, we're not much better than the way the world, depicts us. And here's the thing, even if it's only like 40% of us, that's an awful goddamn lot of us that are that terrible, that are that stupid, that are that fucking World Baseball Classic Marco De Rosa-ish. Man. Well, pour one out for the stupidity in America. Stupidity, maybe I don't need to pour one out. Overall, the Americans have to go on and win this thing. Otherwise, this will be remembered for how stupid they were not even knowing the situation. And even if they win, it's going to be, but remember, they were only there because of Italy, because, again, the internet is forever. And listen, ultimately, this is dumb, right? It's a funny thing that this guy, whatever. The reason I care is because I have a strong stance that this is what patriotism is for. Like, international competition is what patriotism is for. The Olympics, the World Cup, the World Baseball Classic. This is what competition, this is what patriotism is for. I'm rooting for my country in the Olympics. I'm rooting for my country in the World Baseball Classic. That's where you should care. But we treat it as something that we treat it as a death game. You weren't born within these boundaries, therefore you do not deserve health care. That's the way that we treat patriotism. But this is what patriotism is like, you should be mad that the USA manager doesn't know the rules and he should be fired, and we should all high five at the bar and order another beer. That's what patriotism should be. It's not supposed to be like a grandiose view of human superiority over another because of literal birth within specific bounds, or in this case, in this day, it doesn't even matter where you were born. Trump wants to end birthright citizenship. It only matters that you were white in the first place, or whatever law Trump can enact. And that's the point, is that the usefulness of patriotism is competition. Whether it's the hot dog eating competition, whether it's basketball, I don't give a fuck. This is where you go, USA, USA, and that's where it ends. And I wish that I could make people see that, you know? They have viewed us like that. That's how the world has viewed us forever. Let's be honest. That's what the world has seen of Americans. It's, you know, I mean, but you know what? Here's the thing. No matter how stupid we are as Americans, and no matter how much we have succumbed to MAGA, there's always one group that we can focus in on that we know deserves it. That we know is always wrong. That we know doesn't have a right to exist. They don't even know their own goddamn name. And so why would they get to exist? Bingo! The New York Jets this week traded for Geno Smith. So let's go ahead and just go back. Geno Smith was drafted in the second round by the Jets after a precipitous fall from what some thought might be the number one overall pick. It was a little rough beginning for him, but he was finally about to get his first season taking over the helm and proving that he was going to be the star of the future. And one of his offensive linemen punched him in the face over a card game and broke his jaw. And that ruined the season. And ultimately, Geno Smith's Jets career was scuttled and he was traded. He bounced around the league with different teams where he eventually ends up with the Seahawks and has the bounce back of a lifetime, which, by the way, look at that for a moment. Who else? What other former Jets quarterback just had a bounce back with the Seahawks and won a Super Bowl? Sam Darnold. So if a Jets quarterback flops, look for him to be rehabbed with the Seahawks. I hear Zach Wilson is calling the Seahawks, begging for an audition. And I bet Mark Sanchez will be doing the same if he wasn't constantly fucking coked up, taking steroids and fentanyl. That shit is true. Go look up Mark Sanchez, what he's doing. Oh my God, the Jets are so embarrassing. So anyway, Geno Smith bounces around the league, goes to the Seahawks, has a couple of seasons that are nearly MVP worthy for like 12 games. He falls off a little bit. They fall off towards the end. But Geno rehabs his career in a way where he gets paid a little bit. You know, we are all enjoying the Geno Smith rehab story. And we are, of course, enjoying that yet again a player got away from the Jets and was actually good and was therefore ruined by the Jets. Well, Seahawks decide they're done with Geno. They don't want to pay him. They trade him to Oakland and they sign Sam Darnold. They win a Super Bowl. Good for them. Geno has a horrible season in Oakland, and Oakland says they're going to cut Geno and they're going to move on from him. And the Jets say, no, don't cut him. We'll give you a draft pick for him. Nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted him. Like, the Jets aren't paying his salary. The Raiders are paying his salary. So it's not that big of a deal, ultimately. But they still have to give him a draft. He was going to be cut. You could have signed him anyway and not given up a pick. Nobody was, like, clamoring for Geno Smith. It would have been easy. But no. The New York Jets must do everything in the stupidest way possible. So they have now reacquired Geno Smith, and I think it's amazing that we're gonna bookend this thing. That is good goddamn weed. Woo! I love me some Select vapes. How about a sponsorship, Select? Because this shit is the bomb. And you can see that I'm digging it because I am coughing. And if you know me, it takes some shit for me to cough. It's phenomenal that the Jets are going to bookend this thing. Geno Smith failed in the beginning. So let's bring him back to fail again. Because, again, here's the thing. This is Aaron Glenn's second year as head coach. They just had Justin Fields, which anyone could have told you from a mile away was going to fail. And it did. They just had Aaron Rodgers, which anyone could have told you from a mile away was going to fail. And it did. Before that, they had Zach Wilson, which anyone could have told you, from a fucking mile away was going to fail. And it did. Before that. So they're like, no, we're going to bring Geno back after the worst season he's had in like a decade. And he's going to save us now. So poor Geno Smith, who was booed out of New York the first time, now gets to come back and get booed out of New York again. I know New England lost the Super Bowl, but like look at what's going on in that division. New England just went to the Super Bowl. Josh Allen is perennially competing for the second round. The Miami Dolphins are just, a coked out joke, but whatever. That's fine. They're in Miami. They don't give a shit. They're there to bang strippers. They are not there to play football. Nobody goes to the Dolphins to play football. They go there to bang strippers. And you think I'm being vulgar by saying that? You think I'm being gross? You are incorrect. I am telling you the truth about why guys go to play for the Miami Dolphins. I am just letting you know that has legitimately nothing to do with the Dolphins organization or their ability as a team. It is because the Dolphins team rules are very, very, I'm telling you the truth. So you can look it up. I'm not making shit up. So anyway, the Dolphins will always be a joke, and they will always be a joke of an organization, and the jest will always be the jest. And it's just funny. The Bills are getting a brand new stadium. Josh Allen is still good. They just acquired DJ Moore. They should be much better next season. The Patriots acquired Romeo Dobbs, which I'm not going to I'm not going to go into that shit. B and I will talk about that when we get to our next show. But nonetheless, for the jest to bring it back full circle with Geno is just like the kind of thing that it's like a heartwarming story that you like write about, and you're like, oh man, this is going to be you like win the headlines and everyone claps and you have a great off season, and then they're 0-7. It's like this organization is trash. Like every single thing the New York Jets have ever done has been fucking stupid. They don't know how to do anything. They don't have analytics. They're not tough. They don't know how to build a consistent defense. I don't care that they have good defenses every now and then. They repeatedly trade their best players. They don't know how to hire a head coach. They've never had a quarterback of consequence. They don't matter. The New York Jets would lose to Indiana. And I don't care what anyone says about a college team could never keep up with the New York Jets would lose to the Indiana Hoosiers. I would bet the Indiana Hoosiers like -14.5. The New York Jets are the largest joke in the history of professional sports. Imagine having the largest income source in the world, the largest fan base in the world, the largest, most important media market that you could ever fucking have. And you say, okay, we're going to move into someone else's stadium. We're not going to have any sort of radio presence. We are not going to have any owner who's willing to spend money. And also, we're going to have the dumbest fucking green jerseys anyone's ever seen. Every single thing the New York Jets do is the dumbest fucking thing that you could do. And, I'm going to launch this Jets hate show, but I just need to decide like what the format is. Because I'm really onto this, but I just can't decide. We've got like Keith makes an interesting point. Could the Jets be a front for the mob? No, because the mob is so much smarter. I would say the New York Giants are a front for the mob because the Giants they kind of quiet, they do things, There's like really weird moves that you don't understand. A lot of money gets spent. It doesn't make sense, but people still like, don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. Move on. Like the Giants are the front for the mob. The Jets are the front for the gang from Always Sunny trying to be the mob. That's like more like what the Jets are. Like when they try to make Dennis a union leader, that's more like what the New York Jets are. And so, you know what? Let's open it up to the audience. Everyone think about this. What should my New York Jets hate show be? Should it be, hey, we've been talking about a gimmick for the end of the Blunt Doctor show. Should the last 20 minutes of every Blunt Doctor show just be 25 minutes of New York Jets hate? That's one possibility. Should the New York Jets show be a Jets post-game show in which I hate on the Jets for the entire post-game show, much like they do with their real post-game YouTube shows? Just come on here and hate on the Jets the entire time. That could be a thing that we could do. Should it be a specific weekly Blunt Doctor show episode? Should it be its own show? These are all the questions. I want to know, what is the most hateful way that I could hurt the most Jets fans possible? So I want everyone's opinion. Think about it. Come back to me. You all know me. Come tell me in your own time. How can I hurt the most New York Jets fans? How can I ruin the most days of New York Jets fans? That's my goal. That's the plan. You guys let me know how to get it done. Jest, 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 Jest. Fuck them. Whoo, boy. This shit is dumb. This shit is really, really dumb. There is a famous strip club in Atlanta called Magic City. It is very famous not only for being a strip club, but because they have incredible wings. It is most specifically famous for their lemon pepper wings. There are, about 82 trillion rap songs that mention Magic City. It has become part of the vernacular. It is quite literally part of the world. Everyone knows what Magic City is, and the Atlanta Hawks decided, hey, we're going to have a Magic City promotion. Our guys go to Magic City all the time. And essentially what it really was, they were going to have some of the food from Magic City. They were going to have the owner or a DJ or something on a podcast. There were not going to be naked women involved, obviously. But then Adam Silver stepped in and, canceled it and said, we're not going to do that. And Instagram instantly replaced it with graphics saying they were replacing it with Israeli Appreciation Night, which Instagram has no chill. There was a graphic on Instagram that showed, I'm not even going to, we don't even need to, fuck it. I'm going to find it. Anyway, let's stay on topic. So Adam Silver eliminates this program, and he basically says, we're not doing Magic City Night. We're not doing it. This is wrong. It's, we don't want to do that. Blah, blah, blah. And, it kind of started because Luke Cornett, who is a player for the Celtics, or excuse me, the Spurs now, that nobody gives a shit about, said, shouldn't we be holding this up to a higher standard? How dare we ever, women, blah, blah, blah. Basically this idea that anyone who is ever involved in sex work is a monster who is harming himself, and that, only he, Luke Cornett, is the true arbiter of what is correct, and blah, 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 Christianity. And, basically, shamed the Atlanta Hawks and Adam Silver into, quitting this whole concept and basically saying, we're not going to do that. We're just, they just cancel the whole thing. And, woo! What do you know? You can leave with a browser crash and you can still find your way back in. Nonetheless, ultimately, what occurred here was that Adam Silver decided that, he's going to, end this whole situation. We're going to teach people a lesson about how we're going to whatever. And again, listen, you can feel however you want to feel about your religion. You can feel however you want to feel about any situation that you want, and that's completely fine. But this idea that we have to uphold all of society to the highest religion, and that if there's any scenario in which an adult, like, what are we ultimately saying here? Like, strip clubs don't exist? Like, is the idea that there are so many families at basketball games that we can't ever have the concept of adult entertainment or something? Okay, nobody goes to Atlanta Hawks games. So at what point do you factor in that the Atlanta Hawks are like the lowest attended team in the league, and they're trying to find a way to get people in the gates their way? And then again, what this ultimately meant was like they had some lemon pepper themed food. Like, what are we really? Who gives a shit? Like, who gives a shit? And you know what? I mean, this is what it boils down to, is that we can sit here and the NBA will allow for 1 million rappers to rap about Magic City at their games, to play those songs so that more people will want to come to the games. They'll allow those rappers to do halftime shows, but then we can't have a theme night for like what are we? What's at a certain point, you're just saying, well, we don't want any of hip hop culture. Okay, but you let all these rappers who rap about all this shit come in. It's very bizarre to me to basically say, like, when I went to high school, for example, half the girls in my high school wore Playboy Bunny t-shirts. That they were marketing those to teenagers. Like that. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. Like, and you might say, okay, they should have never done that. Fine. Okay, great. When you pretend that the world doesn't exist and do abstinence only and, all of these things, you basically teach. You can't hide sexuality from people. I guess I just don't understand. Like, this is a great opportunity to me to say, this is the non-adult side of this. You're not allowed to know about the rest of this. Let's talk about these things. Like, all of these things are a phenomenal, like, great situation for you to talk to your kids, explain things to them, and make these differences very clear. People want to run away from everything. And I find that fucking bizarre. Strip clubs exist. Like, why would you want your kids' only knowledge of Magic City to be rap music that they hear from their friends? Why not do this and then be able to explain to them, hey, this is a place that only adults can go. You're going to hear things about wings, but ultimately that's not what it's actually about. And this is here so that we can educate you about that. Like, ultimately, talking about things is how you educate people through everything. And I've never understood this concept of, we need to make sure that we don't tell our kids anything, because if we tell them nothing, things will go really well. I have been watching a show called Unexpected, and I'd love to tell you that that is not true. Like, Unexpected, every single one of those goddamn kids comes on, and they're like, oh yeah, I never had sex education. I was never told anything about sex. And then my boyfriend told me that if we only had sex on Tuesdays, that I couldn't get pregnant. So that's the kind of shit they say. And of course, they're always from fucking Alabama, which, you know, again, my family's from Alabama. I can say that shit. So whatever. I had a couple other graphics here, but I'm not going to fuck with those at this point because obviously we had a browser crash at some point. A couple more things we'll talk about. Number one, Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points. That is some crazy goddamn shit. No one, I mean, I don't, well, what do you know? Bam came up. Bam scoring 83 points is crazy unexpected. Bam scoring 83 points in an NBA game is sort of like me scoring 4 points in an NBA game. Nobody ever would have expected it ever in any scenario ever. If you did this in NBA 2K, someone would be like, well, that's fucking crazy. The thing is that what this has done is created this like weird ass backlash. And there's like a lot of hatred towards Bam. Number one, he did shoot 43 free throws. It's a lot of goddamn free throws. The Wizards were triple teaming him at the end, trying to prevent him from scoring, and he used it to draw fouls. Fair enough. But it has created this scenario where people were saying like the NBA created this, or it's not impressive because it was the Wizards, or oh, the fouls, whatever. Number one, the guy had to be fouled like 20 plus fucking times. So like when you get smacked fucking 20 times, you're probably sick of that shit. And he did it. The 7 of 22 from 3 or 6 of 22 from 3 is embarrassing. He shot 31% from 3. And, you know, people compared the stats to Kobe's game. Well, Kobe only, it's not Kobe's game. This is a different era. He scored 83 points. Who cares who it was against? He scored 83 points in an NBA game. How are we trying to pretend like that's not awesome? It's fucking crazy. I think Devin Booker would get 115 points if he got 43 free throws and 43 shots on top of that. But I still think it's awesome that Bam got 83. Like, why are we trying to pretend like this isn't cool? Like, and everyone framing this, here's the other dumb shit. This is all getting framed in like something to do with the Lakers because he broke Kobe's record. Because Wilt scored 100 points and Kobe had scored 81 and now Bam has scored 83. And so now this is getting framed as something to do with the Lakers. This has fucking nothing to do with the Lakers. Nothing. If you're wondering why he's holding up the 83, because when Wilt scored 100 points, famously in the locker room after the game, he held up a piece of paper that said 100. When Devin Booker scored 70, the Suns redid it with this. They kind of did the same thing, even though the Suns lost that game. But Booker was 20 years old. The fact that he scored 70 was absurd. So Bam doing his 83 thing, of course. Kobe maybe did it too. I actually don't know. Kobe's 80-point game, you know, he got like 20 free throws. He only took 13 threes. He took like 42s. It was an impressive feat of physicality because of how many jumpers and how many times he went to the rim. Those things are true. But again, Bam literally got mugged like 20 fucking times. What do you want the guy to do? The Wizards could have not fouled him and let him shoot. Like, what? Is it his fault that he got fouled? Like, he didn't. And so it just, this shit is dumb. And ultimately what it leads to is this garbage. Is Ice Cube's son going on and on, basically accusing the NBA of manufacturing this and saying that the NBA's plan was to break Wilt's 100-point record with Bam. That was the plan. But, you know, Bam was so horrible in this game that he couldn't do it. So the Wizards had to keep fouling him to try to get in there. But he broke Kobe's record, so that was okay. Like, the two most delusional sports fan bases in the world are the Jets and the Lakers, but at least the Lakers have a boatload of fucking championships to stand on their delusion. Like, the Jets have none of that. But Lakers fans, the delusion is still there. What are you talking about? What does this even mean? Number one, like, of all the people to break Wilt's record, why the fuck would they choose Bam out of fucking bio? Not Jokic? Not Joel Embiid? Not Steph Curry? That'd be like the easiest one to get there. Why the fuck would they choose Bam Adebayo? And why the fuck would they choose it against the Wizards? You're literally saying the idea was that the conspiracy was to choose a top 35 very good player, but not elite superstar, and have him score a record-breaking score against one of the worst teams that has ever played. Why in God's name would they do that? No one would care. No one would care. The Wizards were absolutely desperately trying to stop him from scoring. They triple-teamed him. They wanted to stop him from scoring. He just went through the triples and drew fouls. That's impressive. Like, watch the highlights. The motherfucker was being mugged and he still did shit. What are you talking about? And this is where we're at with the NBA. No one likes basketball. No one likes to sit and watch basketball. They like trades. They like free agency signings. They like when the Lakers do something. They like when the Knicks do something. People don't love basketball. I love basketball. That's why I sit here on Sunday Night Suns and I break down Phoenix Suns plays, because I want to see what my team is doing. I want to see how they're evolving. I want to see how players are getting better, because I love basketball. Lakers fans do not love basketball. Lakers fans love marquee branding. Lakers fans love celebrities in the front row. Lakers fans love being mentioned in movies. Lakers fans love free agency. Lakers fans love the city of Los Angeles being a major draw in the NBA. They don't love basketball. They love Kobe Bryant, but they don't love LeBron James. LeBron delivered them a title. They don't care. They already love Luka more than they love LeBron. What? The minute that LeBron came there were like fucking like graffitied banners in the street saying, "You'll never be Kobe," Kobe forever, all these things. And for sure, Kobe dying young has changed the perception of him and increased his idolatry and status and all these things. Kobe is one of the greatest players of all time. I don't think he's a top 5 player of all time. I don't think he's a top 10 player of all time. I think he's like 11 or 12. And by the way, I don't think that calling a player 11th or 12th in the entire history of basketball is an insult. I think Kobe's fucking amazing. I just think that there are probably 11 players I would have taken over him. Maybe me and B should do a list. But what I am tired of is Lakers fans who are, many of them, very famous and thus often shape the discussion of basketball, framing every single thing is how it affects the Lakers. This has nothing to do with the Lakers. And Bam should be celebrated for what he did, not for how this affects Kobe Bryant's record or whether or not what Kobe did was more impressive. I can guarantee you that if Kobe Bryant were here, he would be calling that bullshit. Kobe would say, if you don't want free throws, don't fucking foul me. There you go. I want Kobe on my playoff team. And that's from a certified Lakers goddamn hater right there. That's from a certified Lakers fucking hater. You would want Kobe on his playoff team. Fair enough. I mean, listen, let's do it. Let's, you know what? Fuck it. We got time. Let's just do it. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaq, Magic Johnson. Oh, it does begin to get hard. Tim Duncan, I think, is a better player. Bill Russell, I think, is a better player. Hakeem Olajuwon. Oh boy, and see, we're starting to get to it at a certain point, and I'm sure that there are names that are not coming into my head at this point. But so okay, let's peg it right there. So I have Kobe 8th at best. So there you go. So maybe he would be in my top 10. But the point is, everything in basketball should not be framed through Kobe. Like whether or not he's your greatest player of all time, whether or not you love him more than anyone else, whether or not you have this argument, that argument, whatever. This is Bam's night. And so to see everything, framed through, and the thing is this is like one tweet. There's more. There's actually, like, this was like a total crash out from O'Shea Jackson. Like he says right here, like the league tried so hard to break the record, and it's just like, dude, this wasn't a league. Yeah, Curry is would be the if the league was going to have anyone do this, if this was going to be a thing where we're going to do it, where we're going to have someone break the record, they would choose Curry, because Curry's 3-point shooting would be the easiest way. Because if he hits 43 pointers, he scored 120 points, and like they would, just basically set up a pick line and just let him go back and forth and shoot triples. Like if they were going to have anyone break the record, it would be Curry. Like, and then my other favorite thing, like, he says, Stephen A. Smith, you better not let me down when you talk about this. I don't know how, LeBron, but this is your fault. And you could, he's probably kidding. There were like 20 fucking tweets. There were a lot of these. And he lost his fucking mind over this shit. And it's ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous to me because ultimately, like, again, you're taking away what should be an incredible night for Bam and somehow making it about Kobe when, again, Kobe would not even want that. I don't understand any of that shit. I don't understand the concept. But, that's what we get. Every single thing is framed as the Lakers. Can the Lakers win a championship? Are the Lakers contenders? Does LeBron James, is he still good enough to help the Lakers win the title? Is Austin Reeves the second best player on a championship team for the Lakers? It doesn't, you watch ESPN, it's Lakers, 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 Lakers. And this is a side effect of that, is that you make people believe that a game that literally doesn't even feature the fucking Lakers has to do with the Lakers, and the NBA must be setting them up. Like, he tweeted some other shit about Pat Riley, like, because Riley, I think they put up, the Lakers put up a Pat Riley statue recently because he won a couple of titles as Lakers coach, and something about like the league couldn't handle Pat Riley being the Lakers coach, so they had to have Bam break the Wilt record. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's like MAGA shit. I'd say that Ice Cube needs to shut his son the hell up, but Ice Cube says a lot more crazy shit on social media, so I'm not going to expect that. And, when you see the movies he makes, you also wouldn't expect anything good. Hey, we somehow managed to make it through without a guest host, despite the fact that we had a browser crash in between. Maybe don't try to load 80 photos for me next time. Something to learn. Maybe there's a slideshow function. Hey, we'll always try to find a new way to do things. Thanks for sticking around when the browser crashed. Always trying to find a way to get back in. And, you know, I hope that we can reach the midterms alive so that we can do enough to stop this motherfucker and stop these things. But I am reminded of a couple of words. I smoke in time of peace. I smoke in time of war. I smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints. And then I smoke 2 more. Blood Doctor Show coming back soon with B. Talking NFL free agency. King and Dog podcast coming soon. Sunday Night Suns following up. All the time. On Truth is Blunt Network.